Amid the breathing Milky Way, light gently bends around an invisible void where the universe breaks its own laws. Delicate strands of radiance swirl around that abyss of darkness, so bright they seem ready to set space itself aflame. But then, within a single breath, everything disappears. Light, matter, time, dissolving into nothingness. There, no explosions remain, no colors survive, only absolute silence where even light surrenders, and we wonder, how can the darkest place give birth to the brightest light in the universe? Close your eyes and let me guide you across that boundary where darkness not only devours but also creates light. At the farthest edge of the galaxy, silence stretches endlessly. The stars grow thin, their light dimming as space itself begins to lose color. There, in a region where time slows and gravity rules, lies a small, invisible point, so dense, so powerful, that nothing can escape from it. Around this point, the fabric of space bends inward, as if the universe were folding itself around a secret it cannot hide. This is a black hole, a place where the known laws of nature collapse into something deeper, quieter, and incomprehensibly strange. No light escapes its grasp. Every beam that passes too close curves, twists, and is drawn toward the center until it disappears completely. There are no explosions, no flashes, no sound, only an infinite stillness, a silence heavy enough to swallow even time. To the instruments of astronomy, it appears not as a visible object, but as the absence of one, a void so complete that its presence can only be known through the light it takes away. Yet around that darkness, the universe stirs. Matter falls inward, spiraling faster as it approaches the edge. Gas, dust, and the remains of dying stars form a vast, rotating ring, a glowing disk of fury surrounding a sphere of absolute quiet. Temperatures rise to unimaginable levels. Particles collide, releasing light and radiation strong enough to outshine entire galaxies. The black hole does not merely destroy, it transforms. The energy unleashed in this narrow border between existence and disappearance becomes one of the brightest spectacles in the cosmos. The region just outside the black hole's boundary, known as the event horizon, marks the point of no return. Any particle crossing it is lost forever. Yet before reaching that line, matter resists, spiraling violently as it releases the last of its energy. This final struggle between gravity pulling inward and radiation pushing outward gives birth to light so intense it travels across billions of years, reaching telescopes on a distant planet called Earth. To those who study the sky, this light carries the signature of both creation and annihilation. The black hole itself remains invisible, but its surroundings pulse with activity. Jets of high-energy particles shoot out from its poles, extending for thousands of light years. Around it, the magnetic fields twist and tighten, sculpting the paths of matter into elegant, chaotic streams. From a distance, these jets appear like twin beams piercing the void, marking the location of a power that cannot be directly seen. The deeper the darkness, the brighter the boundary around it glows. For centuries, black holes were thought to be pure destruction, the final graveyards of stars. But observation has revealed something far more complex. In consuming matter, black holes give shape to galaxies. Their gravity anchors the stars, holding them in orbit and defining the rhythm of cosmic structure. Without them, the spiral arms of the Milky Way would drift apart. What was once seen as an end is now understood as an architect, the hidden core around which creation continues. Even so, there is a contradiction at the heart of every black hole. It devours light, yet it gives birth to the brightest objects in the universe, quasars. These are ancient lighthouses of the cosmos, blazing with the energy released as matter falls into black holes billions of times heavier than the sun. The radiance they emit can outshine hundreds of galaxies combined, and all of it, every shimmer, every photon, comes from the edge of darkness. In this paradox, the universe reveals its quiet poetry. The same forces that pull everything inward also ignite the fires that light up the cosmos. Destruction and creation are not opposites here. They are phases of the same cycle, woven together by gravity's unseen hand. The black hole does not end the story of a star. It continues it, reshaped, transformed, reborn as light. Across space, these regions of gravity and glow serve as reminders of balance. Every galaxy carries one at its heart, a silent center around which countless worlds revolve. And though no signal can escape from within, the edges of these voids speak through light, flickering, stretching and bending across the vastness of space, reaching eyes that will never truly see them, but will always feel their pull. At the rim of this invisible abyss, matter trembles on the brink. The universe holds still, caught between silence and explosion. And then, the last fragments of energy burst outward, scattering into the dark like whispers that refuse to fade. What remains is the black hole itself, silent, invisible, waiting. And so the black hole rests at the heart of its quiet empire, not empty, but full of the echoes of what it once was. Around it, the galaxy breathes, the stars drift, and time folds inward, endlessly. From this stillness, another story begins to rise. The story of a giant star, and how its final collapse gave the universe a new kind of light. Every black hole begins with an ending, somewhere in the quiet of space. A star that once burned brighter than millions of suns begins to fade. Its light, once fierce and proud, softens at the edge. For ages, it has lived in balance, gravity pulling inward, heat pushing outward, a quiet rhythm that kept its body alive. But that rhythm cannot last forever. The warmth inside begins to falter, the pulse weakens, and the great heart of the star trembles beneath its own weight as the giant grows old. Its glow changes. The fire that once roared now flickers softly, as if unsure whether to stay or slip away. Deep within its heart, the fading light searches for something to hold on to, one last breath to keep the darkness away. It reaches inward, weaving new sparks from the remnants of its own being. Each layer glows in a different hue: gold, pale white, then deep red, like memories burning one after another. The star shines through its own sadness, still giving light, though it knows the end is near. But the fire cannot last. The warmth that carried it through the ages grows heavy, weary. Gravity, patient and silent, begins to close in. The star, unable to resist its own weight, starts to fold. Its surface sinks, its heart tightens, and the light that once reached across galaxies trembles for the final time. Then, all at once, the star collapses inward. In a moment beyond sound or time, its vast body implodes, compressing itself into something impossibly small. The brilliance that once covered the heavens bursts outward in one last flash, a silent explosion that flares and fades almost as quickly as it came. When the light vanishes, all that remains is a shadow, a memory, a silence where a sun once sang. The outer layers drift gently into space, becoming clouds of glowing dust. But the heart, too heavy to break apart, keeps falling inward. It folds upon itself until the very idea of space ceases to have meaning. A black hole is born, quiet, invisible, yet infinite in its pull. There is no roar in this death. The universe does not shudder. From far away, only a dim shimmer marks the place where something magnificent has fallen into itself. Space closes around it like a soft veil, and in that quiet moment, a new kind of beauty begins to form. Delicate, unseen, yet powerful enough to shape the stars around the newborn black hole. Fragments of the star continue to move, glowing faintly as they circle the darkness. The remains of its body swirl into a halo of light, a ring that burns with the fire of farewell. Each spark that falls toward the black hole releases a final shimmer, as though the star refuses to vanish without saying goodbye. The surrounding space still remembers. The dust that escapes will drift across light years, perhaps to be gathered again into new worlds, new suns, or into the breath of some distant life. The universe wastes nothing. What seems like an ending is only a soft transformation. From the ashes of collapse, creation quietly begins again. If light had memory, it would remember this: the warmth that once reached across the galaxy, the color that painted the night. That memory fades slowly, but never completely. The black hole left behind does not shine, yet its invisible gravity begins to guide everything around it. The same force that destroyed the star now arranges the dance of matter and light in its orbit, the universe continues to move, not in chaos, but in grace. Time, near this new darkness, begins to stretch. Seconds turn to hours, hours to years, and motion itself becomes soft, slow, dreamlike. From far away, the moment of collapse seems frozen, the image of a star forever caught between being and not being. Yet within, the fall continues endlessly, beyond sight, beyond return. Out of this silence, new brilliance will one day emerge. The matter that gathers near the black hole's edge will ignite with unimaginable energy, shining so brightly it can be seen from across the universe. To those watching from faraway worlds, it will appear as a point of light so intense it defies belief. A quasar, born from the death of a star. Thus, the end does not close the story. It changes its language, from light to gravity, from fire to stillness, from song to echo. The star's body is gone, but its rhythm remains, shaping galaxies, holding them close, guiding their motion through the dark. Even in silence, its presence endures. The galaxy around it begins to settle again. Dust drifts, gravity breathes, and the universe folds itself into a new balance. The black hole rests at its center, not as a wound, but as a heart that beats in the language of gravity. Around it, space curves gently, drawing all things into harmony once more. And far beyond that soft curve, where light bends and matter begins to shimmer, a new spectacle begins to unfold. The bending of space itself. The darkness, now calm, begins to shape the very fabric of reality, guiding light into arcs and spirals. The universe prepares for its next quiet revelation, when the emptiness will bend and even light will learn to follow its curve. The universe moves in silence. If it had a voice, it would be the sound of something vast breathing slowly, a rhythm older than memory itself. Out there where darkness flows like water and light drifts like pollen in the wind, space is not empty, it is soft, tender, alive. It stretches and folds like fabric stirred by invisible hands, shaping the paths of suns and stars without ever making a sound. Every world leaves its mark upon this great silence. The small ones, like whispers, sink just slightly into it. The greater ones, with hearts made of fire, press deeper, bending the night around them. And somewhere among these gentle curves lies the deepest hollow of all, the place where the universe itself seems to bow. It is not a wound, nor a scar, but a quiet surrender to something vast and eternal. In that hollow, light forgets what it means to travel straight. It glides toward the darkness, and instead of fleeing, begins to turn. Around the invisible heart, beams of light swirl and twist, circling in slow, graceful spirals, as if dancing around a truth too great to touch. The darkness does not chase them. It simply waits, patient as the deep sea. And the light, drawn by curiosity or fate, bends closer again and again until it disappears. From far away, What remains is not chaos, but elegance. The glow of distant stars stretches and curves, wrapping itself around invisible shapes. What we see is not deception, but the poetry of distance, the way the universe lets light write in circles instead of lines. In those arcs and rings scattered across the night sky, the cosmos sketches its own portrait, one drawn not with ink, but with the quiet bending of time. Near the center of this silence, moments begin to lose their rhythm. What feels like a heartbeat here might last forever there. Time flows differently, soft and uneven, like waves washing gently over the same shore. And in that calm distortion, there is peace, a strange, infinite calm where even motion seems to rest. The stars nearby drift in slow harmony. They follow unseen curves, never colliding, never rushing. As if guided by a lullaby, the universe hums only to them. They do not fight the pull of the dark. They move with it, trusting the shape of something they cannot see. Around the deep heart of gravity, creation and surrender become one. Every bend of space holds a story of something once bright, now quiet, of something once whole, now spread across eternity. The fabric of the universe does not tear when it folds. It embraces itself, weaving new patterns out of old light. The same force that once crushed a star now sculpts beauty from what remains. In the softest parts of space, the bending is gentle, almost tender. Around the great hollow, it deepens until everything, light, dust, memory, flows inward. Yet even here, in the deepest part of the night, the curve glows faintly at its edges. The darkness, it seems, cannot hide its own grace. It is this bending that keeps the universe together. It is why the stars do not scatter endlessly, why their light still finds its way to us, crossing oceans of silence. What we call gravity is simply the universe remembering its shape, returning to itself endlessly, folding and unfolding like a slow exhale. And as the black heart of space continues to hold its quiet shape, something stirs around it. The dust, the remnants of old light begin to move again, swirling faster, glowing brighter. The darkness begins to shimmer faintly, as though waking from a dream. From that shimmering edge, new light begins to rise, not born from stars, but from the motion of what remains. It glows softly at first, a delicate ring of warmth around the shadow, then brighter, whirling faster, until the silence itself begins to hum. This is where the story turns once more, where darkness, content in its stillness, begins to give birth to radiance. And so the universe continues its gentle cycle, folding, glowing, fading, breathing. Light bends, shadows move, and through it all, a calm persists. The black hole, the deepest curve of all, rests quietly at the center, not devouring, but dreaming, while around it, the first sparks of brilliance gather like fireflies around a lake at dusk. There is a border in the universe that has no lines, no color, and no sound. It cannot be touched or crossed, and yet everything that drifts too close will one day find itself there. Around every black hole, that border waits, silent, invisible, patient. Astronomers call it the event horizon, but to the universe, it is simply the point where falling becomes forever. It is not a wall. There is no barrier, no mark to tell where the safe light ends and the dark begins. Space itself moves here. It flows inward like a river drawn toward a great unseen sea. The closer it comes to the center, the faster it moves, until even light, swift, weightless, eternal, can no longer swim against the current. Once it crosses that quiet edge, it is carried inward, never to return. From afar, the approach looks graceful. Matter circles the black hole like a dancer moving around a flame, each turn faster than the one before. Time stretches, motion slows. A piece of dust caught in this pull would seem to hover forever at the edge, as if refusing to fall. But that stillness is an illusion. Beneath it, everything is already gone, drawn past a horizon that no eye can see. The space around the horizon hums with invisible motion. It is the soundless rush of everything being pulled toward nothing. The universe does not scream here. It exhales, a long, slow breath that folds light into silence. There are no boundaries, but the ones the mind imagines. Only a deepening curve that gathers all things, patient and inevitable. To stand at such a place, if one ever could, would be like standing beside an endless waterfall, not of water, but of space itself. The current grows stronger the closer it draws to the edge. At first, the pull is gentle, then faster, until it becomes unstoppable. Everything that touches it is carried along, its path no longer its own. There is no violence, only surrender, a quiet yielding to a rhythm older than light. For the black hole, this edge is its soft heartbeat. It does not devour with rage, but with calm, as if continuing the same breath it began when a star first fell in on itself. Beyond this edge, the rules of distance, of direction, of time lose their shape. The horizon is not an end, but a passage, one so deep and still that no message can return from it. And yet, from the outside, this silence shines. Around the edge of the horizon, matter still burns in the grip of its final descent. It spirals, glows, and bursts with waves of invisible light before fading completely. The black hole never reveals what happens beyond, but the edges tell their own story, the last trace of matter whispering goodbye before being folded into the dark. There is something achingly beautiful in that boundary. The calm before the fall, the shimmer before the vanishing, all of it is part of the universe's quiet rhythm. What disappears beyond the horizon is not lost. It simply continues in a place where our eyes cannot follow. Somewhere beyond that border, Perhaps the essence of things goes on, changed but not destroyed. The universe has a way of keeping its secrets safe. Every horizon is a reminder that not everything can be seen. Some truths are meant to be felt in the pull of gravity, in the slow arc of light bending around the unseen. In that way, the event horizon is both a mystery and a promise. It marks the line between what we can understand and what lies beyond our reach, and it humbles everything that dares to draw near. If space could dream, it would dream of this border, the place where everything moves inward and nothing looks back. It would dream of the stillness that follows, the hush that comes when even light forgets its way home. In that dream, the universe is not frightening, it is tender. The darkness does not destroy, it gathers. It brings all things back into itself, cradling them in a silence so deep it becomes light again, somewhere far away. The black hole waits at the center, calm and unwavering. Around it, the invisible current continues to pull, drawing matter, memory, and motion toward its heart. And just before that final descent, something extraordinary happens. The edge begins to glow, thin and trembling like the rim of dawn on an endless night. The darkness, so patient, allows a final dance, a brief flash of brilliance before the quiet takes hold. And so the story does not end at the horizon. What falls inward still leaves a trace, a ring of fire circling the void, bright as a promise, fragile as breath. It is here, along this boundary between falling and light, that the next tale begins. For in the space where light trembles and curves, beauty awakens once more. Beyond the horizon's hush, something continues to move. A swirling glow around the black heart, born from what was once lost. It is the beginning of the next chapter, where matter, before surrendering, burns brighter than it ever has. Nothing in the universe truly falls at once. Even in the face of gravity's deepest pull, everything hesitates, lingering, circling, as if whispering a quiet farewell before crossing into silence. Around every black hole, this hesitation takes form, a vast, luminous ring where dust, gas, and fragments of ancient stars drift and spin. It is called the accretion disk, though it is not merely a structure, but a moment, a pause between being and oblivion. Here, matter does not fall straight into the dark. It spirals inward, caught in a dance too beautiful and too brief to last. Each grain of cosmic dust turns faster and faster, weaving streams of light that curve like ribbons around the invisible heart. The closer they draw to the center, the brighter they burn. What was once cold and distant now glows with unbearable heat, shining in colors no human eyes can ever fully see. The universe, in this quiet corner, composes one of its most delicate symphonies. The dust sings through friction, soft collisions that give birth to light. Gas rubs against gas, turning motion into warmth, warmth into fire. From afar, this ring blazes like a halo, encircling the darkness it cannot escape. The light here is both surrender and defiance, the final song of matter refusing to vanish quietly. In its brightness, there is a kind of peace, as if every particle has accepted its fate and chosen to meet it with brilliance. Time, too, behaves differently here. Near the black hole's edge, every movement stretches, every shimmer lasts longer than it should. To a distant observer, the glowing ring seems eternal, as though frozen in its motion, never changing. But within that stillness, everything is in flux. Matter races inward, spinning itself thinner and thinner, until it disappears completely, leaving only light behind. The illusion of stillness is simply the kindness of distance, softening what is, in truth, an unending fall. The light of this disk reaches across unimaginable distances, painting faint lines through the black canvas of the cosmos. Some of it escapes, wandering freely through space. Some curves back upon itself, caught in the gravity it tried to flee. And yet, even the light that does escape seems reluctant, like a memory that refuses to fade entirely. What we see from Earth through telescopes and dreams is the echo of that moment, a farewell so bright it lingers for ages. Each spark in the disk tells a story of what once was, of a star that lived, of matter that journeyed through galaxies, of fragments that now return to where everything began. It is not destruction, but reunion. The universe does not erase, it reclaims. Every piece of dust that disappears into the dark becomes part of something larger, something older than stars themselves. If one could look closely enough, they would see not chaos, but rhythm, spirals of motion weaving together like strands of a single thread. It is the universe breathing, exhaling light before the inhale of darkness. The glow flickers, ripples, and pulses, as if the black hole itself were surrounded by the heartbeat of everything it has ever touched. In that rhythm, there is grace. The closer matter moves toward the edge, the more intense the dance becomes. Light bends, colors deepen, the curves tighten. The disk shimmers with impossible beauty, its edges trembling with fire. It is the last waltz of creation, the place where form dissolves into energy, where existence lets go of itself. And in that letting go, it becomes something new, not gone, not forgotten, but transformed. At its innermost edge, the glow thins into a whisper. The particles, now stripped of everything they once were, drift silently toward the horizon. One by one, they vanish, their light stretching into thin lines before fading from sight. And yet, in their disappearance, they leave behind a promise that even in the deepest darkness, the universe will always find a way to shine. This quiet glow, this delicate ring of fire, is not an accident. It is the final kindness of nature, to let light exist a little longer before it falls into silence. Around every black hole, this luminous border marks the threshold between two realities, one of motion, one of stillness. It is here that the universe reminds itself that endings and beginnings are not opposites, but reflections of the same breath. The disk continues to spin, soft and steady, long after the matter within it has vanished. What remains is its afterglow, a lingering warmth in the fabric of space, faint but eternal. To those who look from afar, it is a gentle light, steady as a candle in an endless night, but up close, it is a storm of beauty, a river of vapor circling a heart of silence. And as the light begins to fade, the universe grows still again. The black hole rests, its hunger momentarily quiet. Around it, the last strands of the glowing ring drift outward, cooling, dimming, dissolving into the night. Yet in that fading light, there is something new awakening, a pulse that grows stronger, a flare of brilliance gathering from within. For what happens next is not silence, but rebirth. From the edge of darkness, energy bursts forth, bright, fierce, unstoppable. It is the last cry of matter before it disappears completely. A moment when destruction becomes creation once again. There comes a moment, brief and blinding, when everything that remains of matter gives itself away. The spiral of dust and gas that has been circling the black hole for eons reaches its end. Its motion quickens, its glow deepens, until it burns brighter than anything else in the galaxy. It is the last act before silence, the final flare before the dark. In that instant, energy flows outward in waves too vast to measure. Light bursts from the edge, streaking through the void, like threads of fire drawn across the night. Radiation hums through the emptiness, silent to the ear, but trembling through space like the echo of a heartbeat. What once was solid, fragments of stars, grains of dust, whispers of time, turns entirely into light. It is matter's final confession, given in color and brilliance. From a distance, it appears as a soft flicker at the edge of darkness, but up close, it is a storm. Each spark collides with another. Each ripple fuels the next, until the whole disk around the black hole glows like a single, enormous flame. The light bends around itself, folding into rings of gold and silver, curving along invisible paths until it vanishes. The universe, for a breath, becomes pure radiance. And yet, even in this fury, there is peace. The release is not violent. It is graceful, like a candle slowly giving up its last warmth. The particles do not fight as they fade. They move willingly, surrendering themselves to the pull of gravity, allowing their light to spill freely into the dark. There is no fear in this ending, only acceptance. The universe, it seems, does not destroy. It transforms. Every flash, every shimmer carries within it a trace of memory, the light of forgotten stars, the dust of ancient worlds, the glow of things that once were. As they drift outward, these rays become messages, Written in the softest language, the language of farewell, they travel across the vastness long after their source has vanished, carrying the story of their birth into the farthest corners of the cosmos. For a moment that cannot be measured, the black hole is surrounded by a halo of impossible beauty. It shines like an ember at the center of eternity, neither alive nor dead, but suspended in between. Its glow is fragile, trembling against the pull of the void. And then, one by one, the lights begin to fade. The storm quiets. The last whispers of brightness stretch thinner and thinner until they dissolve completely into the night. What remains is not absence, but calm. The space that was once full of motion settles into stillness. The black hole breathes again, slow, deep, eternal. The glow that surrounded it has vanished, but the memory of it lingers, like warmth left behind by a fire that has gone out. The surrounding stars seem dimmer now, humbled by what they have witnessed. The universe's quiet miracle, the moment when matter learned to become light. The darkness around the black hole is different now. It is not empty. It hums with the echoes of what has passed. The energy released in that final moment ripples outward, invisible but enduring. It moves through galaxies, through space and time, carrying with it the faint imprint of what once was. Somewhere, far away, perhaps a new star will be born from the remnants of this fading light. The universe always finds a way to begin again. In that thought, there is comfort. The black hole is not a thief of existence. It is a keeper of cycles. What it takes, it reshapes. What it absorbs, it preserves in ways that eyes can never see. The light that disappears does not die. It becomes part of the endless motion that holds the cosmos together. Destruction here is simply another form of creation wearing a darker face. As the last ribbons of light fade into the black, the night becomes clear again. The silence feels infinite, but it is a living silence, full, not empty. The stars nearby seem to pause as if listening. They too will one day reach this edge, this same surrender, when their light will curve, flare, and fade into the arms of gravity. And just as it began, the universe returns to stillness. The black hole, calm and unhurried, settles into its quiet role once more. The heart of darkness that keeps the dance of galaxies alive. The great flare has passed, but its story continues in the light still traveling outward, whispering its farewell across billions of years. Yet the story does not end here, for even after the last spark fades, the afterglow of that energy remains. Pulsing faintly in the shadows, it draws in more dust, more fragments, weaving them once again into new spirals of fire. Around the same darkness, a new ring of light begins to form, the promise that nothing ever truly ends, only changes its shape. The silence deepens, but the universe is not done speaking. In the heart of that calm, another miracle stirs. The birth of light far brighter than the stars themselves. It begins softly, a shimmer at the edge of the void, and then grows until the darkness itself seems to shine. far beyond the reach of any sun, where galaxies fade into dust and distance becomes indistinguishable from silence, something extraordinary burns. To those who gaze through the eyes of their telescopes, these distant points of light shimmer against the deep black of eternity, too bright, too fierce, too alive to belong to ordinary stars. They are not galaxies, though they outshine entire galaxies. They are not suns, though they radiate more than 1,000 suns combined. They are something else entirely, light born from darkness. The universe calls them quasars. Each quasar glows from the heart of a galaxy long past its prime, where a black hole, massive, patient, and quiet, feeds upon what drifts too near. Around it, a whirl of fire gathers. Dust, gas, and remnants of stars torn apart by gravity's invisible hand. And from this chaos, light is born, pure, radiant, unstoppable. What should have been swallowed by darkness instead becomes a beacon piercing the void. To the human eye, a quasar would be no larger than a single star in the night sky. Yet the light it sends travels across billions of years, reaching our world like an echo from a time before time. It carries within it the memory of creation itself, the voice of a universe still learning how to glow. The brightness is so immense that it overwhelms everything around it, blurring the line between star and shadow, between life and its quiet reflection. The quasar burns not with fury, but with inevitability. It does not rage against the darkness. It arises from it. The energy that radiates outward is the last song of matter, transformed entirely into light before disappearing. Around the black hole, this glow forms an eternal dawn spreading across the fabric of space. It is the universe's quiet contradiction. The darker the heart, the brighter the light that escapes its edge. From far away, these flames look steady, serene, almost calm, but within their hearts, the motion is wild. Rivers of light twisting around invisible centers, spirals of spore drawn toward silence. The balance between destruction and creation becomes so fine that they are no longer separate. They merge into one breath, one pulse. The black hole consumes, and yet, through that very act, it creates the most radiant light in existence. It is difficult to grasp the scale of such brilliance. Each beam that escapes a quasar travels through seas of emptiness, across distances so vast that the light itself begins to age. By the time it reaches Earth, it has journeyed longer than all of human history combined. And yet, it still glows. It carries not only the image of what once was, but the promise that light, no matter how far it travels, never forgets where it began. In the quiet language of the cosmos, the quasar speaks of renewal. It tells us that even within darkness, there is creation, that endings are never complete, that what falls inward may still give rise to something beautiful. The black hole, once thought to be the grave of light, reveals itself as its cradle. Through it, the universe whispers its oldest truth, that light and darkness do not oppose each other. They are the same dance seen from different sides. Perhaps that is why quasars stir something deep within the human heart. We too are made of what the stars once were. Within our bones lie atoms that once circled suns, now long gone. The light that reaches us from those distant quasars is, in some way, a reflection of what we already are. Matter that learned to shine, then to fade, and then to begin again. And so, the quasar stands as a symbol, not of destruction, but of transformation. It is the universe remembering itself in fire. The most silent of all forces gives rise to the loudest light. In that contrast, there is poetry. In that paradox, there is peace. As astronomers look deeper into the night, they find more of these cosmic torches scattered through the heavens, each one a story of light surviving its own disappearance. Some burned in the first dawn of the universe, when galaxies were still finding their shape. Others still flicker faintly, reminders of what once was and what will always be. Each one tells the same story, that the universe is never done creating beauty, even in its darkest places. When the light from a quasar reaches our world, it is not only light, it is time itself, arriving at our eyes after traveling billions of years through the quiet corridors of space. It is as if the universe is sending a memory, softly reminding us that everything bright once came from something unseen. And as the glow fades, as the quasar's brilliance begins to soften, something gentle happens. Around the black hole, the streams of light thin out, the fires cool, the space that once blazed with energy begins to settle. The great torch of the cosmos dims, returning once more to calm. But its story is far from over, for the universe always finds a way to keep its balance. Beyond the fading brightness, the black hole remains, quiet, patient, and still. The light that once surrounded it drifts into distance, becoming part of the cosmic background, faint but eternal. In that stillness, the universe seems to exhale, as though resting after a long song. Yet even now, in that calm, another wonder begins to take shape. The light that left the quasar continues to move outward, touching the dust of other galaxies, bending around other stars. It travels endlessly, changing everything it meets, carrying the memory of its source within its glow. And so, as one light fades, another begins to rise elsewhere. The darkness that once birthed the quasar continues to shape the universe around it, guiding the creation of new stars, new worlds, new beginnings. The cycle endures, destruction feeding creation, silence giving way to song in the deep heart of the cosmos, where silence folds over itself and time seems to rest. A quiet miracle unfolds around the edge of the black hole, where gravity reigns and motion becomes music. The darkness begins to shimmer. It is not the light of stars, nor the glow of fire, but something more fragile, a light born from surrender, Here, matter and energy meet their final moment. Drawn inward, they spiral faster and faster, pressed together in the embrace of gravity's calm insistence. The fragments of dust, gas, and memory collide, not with violence, but with grace. Each collision gives off a faint glow, a whisper of heat, a soft exhale of light, and as billions of such moments unfold, the darkness is transformed. Not broken, not defeated, but illuminated from within. It is a paradox so gentle that the universe itself seems to pause to listen. From the act of falling, brilliance emerges. From compression, radiance is born. The faster matter turns, the more beautiful its light becomes, a delicate halo around an invisible heart. It is not chaos, but choreography. Not destruction, but creation disguised in shadow. The space surrounding the black hole burns with this strange light, though it comes from a place that swallows everything. The rays, a radiance it gives off, can travel across billions of years, reaching eyes that were never meant to see it. A single flare, born from that edge, can outshine 1,000 galaxies. And yet, it all began in silence, in a moment of collapse, in the calm acceptance of gravity's pull. There is no sound to this light. It rises quietly, without flame or noise, weaving its way through the emptiness of space. To those who gaze from far away, it looks eternal, a beacon that defies the void. But it is fleeting, as all beauty is. Each spark that leaves the black hole's edge carries with it a story of transformation, a fragment of matter turned to light, a whisper of something that refused to vanish completely. This, perhaps, is the universe's most delicate truth, that the greatest radiance often comes from the deepest shadows. What we call darkness is not the absence of light, but its cradle. It holds, shapes, and gives birth to illumination. The black hole, once seen as a devourer, reveals itself as a maker, a silent forge where the raw material of the cosmos is reborn as brilliance. If one could watch from afar, they would see how the light bends as it escapes, curving gently around the edges of gravity's grasp. The path of each ray tells a story of resistance and grace. Some light breaks free, wandering into the cold reaches of the universe. Some bends back, caressing the edge of the black hole before vanishing once more. Every beam carries both memory and release, a reminder that even in captivity, there is freedom. The glow that surrounds these dark hearts is soft, but its reach is endless. It drifts through the cosmos, illuminating distant worlds, touching the dust between galaxies. It is light that began as loss and became beauty, a reminder that even the act of falling can create something everlasting. And though the black hole itself remains unseen, its presence is known through the radiance it allows to exist. The universe, it seems, paints its brightest colors with its darkest brush. From this paradox, everything we know about light begins to change. It is no longer just a thing that shines. it becomes a story of transformation, a song sung by the cosmos to itself, the dance between matter and gravity, between collapse and illumination, continues endlessly, a rhythm that echoes through galaxies, across time, through the heart of every star, and somewhere, in the vast stillness between those lights, there is understanding. The black hole, the so-called monster of the universe, is not only a symbol of endings, but of renewal. It takes what is given to it and turns it into something that travels beyond measure, light that outlives its source, brilliance that speaks long after silence has fallen. As the glowing halo fades into the darkness, again, what remains is a lingering warmth, invisible but present. The light that was born here continues its journey, threading through the fabric of space, like a delicate song carried by wind. It may one day reach another world, another being, another moment. Quiet reminder that creation and destruction are but two sides of the same breath. The universe does not choose between light and dark. It allows both to exist, intertwined, inseparable. One gives meaning to the other. One cannot live without its reflection. From this balance, the cosmos draws its beauty, not in perfection, but in contrast. And so, from the quietest collapse comes the loudest light. From the deepest silence, the universe sings its brightest song. The darkness that consumes also creates, and the cycle begins again, infinite, patient, eternal. As the glow of this light stretches outward into the void, the universe shifts once more. The darkness that has given birth to such radiance begins to settle, to cool, to wait. The stars that once watched from afar seem to bow their heads in reverence, their own light humbled by what they have seen. And just beyond that shimmering halo, where space grows quiet again, the story continues. The quasar's fire fades into memory, but its light remains a guide, a soft echo that marks the beginning of something new. In the beginning, before galaxies had names, before stars had songs, there was only darkness. The universe was still young, a vast sea of shadows and whispers, filled with dust, silence, and waiting. From that silence, the first sparks began to gather. Invisible hands drew matter toward itself, folding and weaving it into tiny seeds of light. And within those seeds, something powerful and patient began to stir. The first black holes. They were not the destroyers we imagine now. In that young, fragile cosmos, they were architects. Around them, matter began to dance. Gas and dust spiraled inward, igniting heat and motion, awakening the first fires of the universe. These fires grew, twirled, and expanded until the blackness itself began to shimmer with new light. From the heart of that darkness, the first quasars were born, torches that burned at the edge of eternity. Their glow reached across the emptiness, piercing the soft veil of the early universe. Like dawn spilling over a quiet horizon, their light began to reveal shapes where there had been none. Faint outlines of clouds, threads of dust, connecting what would one day become galaxies. The darkness did not vanish. It softened, giving way to radiance. For the first time, the universe could see itself. Each quasar shone with the brilliance of creation's first breath. Their light traveled outward, meeting other glows, weaving a web of brightness across the void. Matter, once scattered and alone, began to gather into patterns, rivers of light flowing together, forming galaxies, stars, and worlds yet to be imagined. The universe, in its infancy, was learning to organize its own chaos. To gaze upon that time now, even through the eyes of the most powerful telescopes, is to look back through billions of years into the youth of everything. The light that reaches us today from those early quasars has crossed the ages to whisper stories of beginnings. It tells of a time when light was rare and sacred, when each spark was a miracle. Those quasars were the universe's first storytellers. They carried the memory of how light emerged from darkness, how silence gave birth to sound, and how the first structures took shape from the formless sea. Without them, the cosmos would have remained adrift, a quiet ocean without rhythm. Their light became a compass, guiding matter toward the symmetry and harmony we now see in galaxies scattered across the night sky. In that era of awakening, everything was both fragile and eternal. The young universe pulsed with energy, stretching, breathing, expanding. Around every newborn quasar, dust glowed like embers, and the surrounding space rippled with warmth. Each flicker of light was an act of balance, destruction giving rise to creation, collapse leading to renewal. The black holes that powered those quasars consumed, but in doing so, they illuminated. They turned the dark fabric of space into a tapestry of gold and silver threads. The dawn of the universe was not loud. It was slow and tender, a bloom of light unfurling across silence. Every ray from those first quasars carried a trace of that gentleness, spreading it through the cosmos. That same light still moves today, faint and distant, like the echo of a lullaby sung by creation itself. In their radiance, the young universe found its rhythm. Gravity, light, and motion began to weave the first great structures. Galaxies bound together by unseen threads. Between them stretched vast expanses of quiet, where the glow of quasars flickered like fireflies drifting in the dark. And though most of those lights have long since dimmed, their memory remains imprinted in the stars that came after, in the warmth that fills the night. We live in the aftermath of that dawn. Every star that burns today carries a trace of those ancient fires. Every planet, every breath of air, every atom of our being once drifted through the light of those first quasars. The story of the early universe is written within us, the story of darkness learning how to shine. As the young cosmos matured, the brilliance of the quasars began to soften. The galaxies they helped form grew stronger, their stars multiplying, their lights blending together. The need for those first torches faded. The universe, now full of suns and worlds, could sustain its own glow, and so, one by one, the quasars began to quiet, their flames retreating into calm, leaving behind only the memory of their dawn. Yet even in their silence, their influence endures. The galaxies we see today, graceful spirals, glowing clusters, drifting islands of light, still move in patterns first set by those luminous beginnings. Every flicker in the night sky is, in some small way, a descendant of that first fire. And as we gaze into the deep, we are not only looking at distance, we are looking at time itself. We are witnessing the universe, remembering its own birth, reliving its first sunrise. The light from those ancient quasars continues to reach us, gentle and slow, reminding us that creation is never over, that the universe is still unfolding, one breath, one heartbeat, one spark at a time. Now, as the last echoes of that dawn fade into the vast tapestry of stars, the universe settles once more into calm. The glow of the quasars becomes a soft background hum, a gentle light woven through space. And yet, from this quiet, something new begins to emerge, a deeper reflection, a slower rhythm, a question that stretches across time itself. If light could speak, it would not begin its story with brilliance. It would begin with darkness. For before it shone, before it ever touched a world or a wandering eye, it was hidden, sleeping in the deep, quiet folds of space, waiting for the moment it would be called into being. Its journey did not begin in radiance, but in silence. And perhaps that is why, even now, every beam that crosses the sky carries within it a trace of the dark that once held it. Light has always been patient. It does not rush. It travels with grace, touching everything but claiming nothing. It has no destination, only the gentle promise of arrival. And when it reaches a surface, a planet, a sea, a face turned upward in wonder, it pauses just long enough to be seen before continuing its long passage through the cosmos. If it could tell us its memories, light would speak of the places it has touched, of stars that birthed it in great bursts of flame, and of the emptiness it crossed in cold silence afterward. Whisper of nebulae glowing like gardens in bloom, and of worlds so far away that their light will never be known. It would tell of its moments of joy when it lit the first galaxies, and of its moments of sorrow when it faded into the gravity of black holes. Behind every ray of light lies an unseen story. For every shimmer we witness in the night sky, there are countless more that never reached us, swallowed by time, by distance, or by darkness itself. Yet even those lost rays are not wasted. They remain part of the universe's quiet memory, the soft echo of everything that has ever burned, every warmth that has ever existed. Light is honest. It does not hide the truth of endings. It knows that to be seen is to fade, that to shine is to surrender a part of itself, and still, it chooses to illuminate. It stretches across the cold, unafraid of being forgotten, unafraid of the void. In that, it is very much like life itself, fragile, fleeting, yet impossibly brave. Before it reaches the eye, before it paints the world, light must first be born from loss. It is the child of collapse, of fusion, of endings transformed into beginnings. Every glimmer we see carries the memory of something that once ceased to be. Perhaps that is what makes it so beautiful, not just its brightness, but the quiet history it carries, the truth that it has already survived darkness once before. If the universe could be seen from behind the light, we would glimpse not just stars and galaxies, but the endless patience that brought them into being. We would see the shadowed hands of time gently guiding each spark into place. We would understand that light is not a conquest over dark, but a conversation with it, a soft exchange between what vanishes and what endures. For light is born only where darkness allows it. Without the black canvas of space, there would be no glow, no contrast, no beauty. The two are not enemies, but partners in a cosmic dance. Darkness holds, light reveals, and together they tell the story of everything that has ever existed. The brilliance we see is only half the truth. The other half lies in the silence that surrounds it. When we look up at the stars, we are not just seeing the light, we are seeing the time it has carried. We are gazing into the past, into the quiet, sacred memory of the universe unfolding itself. And in those tiny points of brightness, we see echoes of ourselves, creatures of brief light walking through the vastness, leaving traces that may one day shine for someone else. Light, if it could feel, would understand sorrow. It would know what it means to give and to fade. It would know that beauty is not measured in permanence, but in the grace of its passing. Like life, it is made meaningful not by how long it lasts, but by how deeply it touches what it meets. And when its journey ends, when it finally meets the surface that absorbs it, or the darkness that reclaims it, there is no resistance. There is peace. The light does not mourn its end, for it knows that even in disappearing, it gives warmth, that in being absorbed, it becomes part of something greater, a star, a world, a heart. So perhaps, if light could speak, it would not boast of what it has illuminated. It would whisper instead of what it has left behind, the comfort it has offered, the shadows it has softened, the lives it has gently passed through. It would tell us that brightness has meaning only because of the dark that came before. In that quiet truth lies a reflection of everything, of stars, of galaxies, of us. We too are sparks against the dark. We too are born from endings, destined to shine for a while, and then return to the silence that gave us life. And somewhere beyond our eyes, in the great spaces where light still travels, the universe listens. It listens to the hum of the stars, to the quiet conversations between light and shadow, and in that listening, it remembers how to create. For after every light fades, a new one will rise. The cycle continues, patient, endless, kind. The universe has always known this, that nothing is ever lost, only changed. And as the glow of the ancient quasars softens into the background of existence, the universe takes a long breath. The darkness grows gentle again, carrying the faint shimmer of all the lights that have ever been. At the center of nearly every galaxy, hidden behind the glow of countless stars, there lies something silent, a stillness so deep it bends the world around it. It does not shine, it does not speak, yet everything nearby listens. Every star, every drifting cloud of dust, every whisper of light moves in quiet rhythm with its pull. The universe knows this presence by many names, but in our own galaxy, we call it Sagittarius A. It rests at the very heart of the Milky Way, cloaked in darkness, older than the stars that circle it. It does not rage or devour endlessly. Instead, it waits, calm, patient, immense. Around it, the stars drift in elegant spirals, tracing invisible patterns through the night. Some move swiftly, flaring in brightness as they pass close. Others wander slowly, bound to an orbit they cannot see but cannot escape. Together, they move like dancers circling a silent partner, each one guided by a force that neither touches nor speaks. From afar, the heart of the galaxy looks tranquil, almost serene, but beneath that calm, an ancient rhythm beats, the pulse of gravity itself. It hums so faintly that it cannot be heard, but its influence reaches across tens of thousands of light years, shaping the paths of suns, dust, and time. The Milky Way's spiral arms, those luminous trails we admire from the safety of our small blue world, all twist around this single point of gravity, this quiet heart of darkness. Sagittarius, oh, it does not shine, but it gives the galaxy its structure. Without it, the stars would drift apart like scattered embers, and the soft spiral we call home would unravel into emptiness. The black hole is not a destroyer here. It is a guardian, invisible, steady, keeping the dance alive. Around it, the stars continue their slow waltz. Some draw near, brushing close to the border where light itself begins to bend. In those brief encounters, they glow brighter, as though acknowledging the power they circle. Then they drift away again, their paths curved but unbroken. Centuries pass, millennia. The dance never stops. If one could watch from afar, they would see a beauty that feels both eternal and fleeting. The stars move as though time itself were fluid, their light tracing golden lines through the dark. Around the center, their motion grows faster, tighter, until the eye cannot follow. Yet no chaos emerges, only harmony. Even in the presence of such immense gravity, there is grace. To gaze into this region is to glimpse the unity of opposites, stillness and motion, creation and silence, order and surrender. The black hole, though invisible, gives meaning to everything that moves around it. It is the quiet axis upon which the galaxy turns, not a tyrant, but a heartbeat. And so the Milky Way breathes. Each rotation takes hundreds of millions of years, yet in that time, the balance holds. Stars are born and die. Planets form and vanish. Light travels and fades. And still, at the center, Sagittarius A remains. It does not age as we understand age. It simply is. A silent constant in a universe of endless change. Perhaps that is why there is peace in its darkness. It reminds the cosmos that even in stillness, there is purpose. Even in invisibility, there is power. The stars, in their shimmering dance, seem to know this truth. They orbit faithfully, never touching, never escaping, tracing invisible music across the night. And far from this grand center, on the edge of one small arm of the galaxy, our world turns. The light that warms our mornings and glows in our nights began its journey around this same silent core. We too are part of that dance. Distant, tiny, but connected all the same. Every sunrise is, in a way, an echo of that ancient gravity that holds the Milky Way together. There is a strange comfort in knowing this, that even the most invisible force can bind an entire galaxy in harmony, that in the heart of darkness there is stability, not chaos, that what we cannot see may still be what keeps us safe. The stars have always known this. Perhaps we are only just beginning to remember. The center of our galaxy is both a mystery and a mirror. It shows us that stillness can move the heavens, that silence can create song. The black hole at its core, unseen and unspoken, becomes a reminder that the greatest presences need no light to exist. And as the Milky Way continues its slow, steady spin, the stars keep tracing their circles around that invisible heart. It is a dance without beginning or end, a motion so vast that no single lifetime could witness even one full turn. Yet the pattern remains perfect, as it has for billions of years, as it will for billions more. Beyond that center, farther than we can imagine, other galaxies follow the same rhythm, each with its own dark heart, each moving to the same silent tune. The universe, in all its enormity, moves as one. Countless stars, countless worlds, all turning around invisible centers of gravity, a vast choreography written in starlight and shadow. And as we drift within this cosmic waltz, the thought arises that perhaps the darkness at the heart of every galaxy is not something to fear, but something to trust, that the unseen can still guide, still hold, still protect. The Milky Way keeps spinning, its heart still beating, its edges glowing faintly in the infinite night. Around Sagittarius A, the stars continue their endless orbit, each one a note in the quietest symphony ever played. There is a quiet wonder that happens at the edge of darkness, a moment when light, instead of fleeing, begins to bend. It curves softly, drawn not by fear, but by fascination, wrapping itself around the invisible heart of a black hole. From afar, it looks like a trick of vision, a mirage suspended in the dark, but it is no illusion. It is the universe showing us how beauty can exist even in distortion. When light passes near a black hole, it does not vanish immediately. It glides along the curve of gravity, following paths that twist and circle before breaking free again. To the distant eye, it appears doubled, multiplied, reflected, as though the cosmos were holding a mirror up to itself. Rings of light shimmer in the void, delicate and precise, each one the echo of a beam that once dared to drift too close to the abyss. This bending is not violent. It happens gently, as if the darkness were cradling the light, guiding it in a slow dance. Every curve tells a story of the invisible hand that shapes the universe, a quiet choreography between what can be seen and what cannot. The result is astonishing. Arcs of brightness suspended around shadows, halos that glow where none should exist. It is as though the night itself learns to paint with light. To look upon these arcs, these circles of brilliance surrounding silence, is to witness one of the universe's softest miracles. The light that shouldn't have been lost forever instead returns, reshaped and reimagined. It bends, it loops, it travels through hidden corridors of space, carrying with it whispers from worlds too far for eyes to reach. In its curves, we glimpse the outlines of the unseen. Through this bending, the universe reveals what lies behind its veils. The light from distant stars and galaxies, once hidden, finds new paths through gravity's gentle distortion. What would have remained invisible now appears before us, faint, ghostly reflections of the past, shining across time. This is how the universe allows us to see its deeper layers, by turning darkness into a lens. Every bent beam becomes a message. It carries stories from galaxies so distant, their light began its journey before our sun was born. As it twists around black holes and clusters of stars, it gathers fragments of the universe's memory, reflections of moments long gone. When that light finally reaches us, it is both ancient and immediate, like hearing an echo that started billions of years ago and has only just arrived. In those luminous rings, we see how even gravity, that invisible weight of the cosmos, can create something delicate and luminous. The dark does not devour the light, it shapes it. It molds brightness into new forms, crafting beauty out of inevitability. The universe, through its very structure, tells us that even the heaviest forces can create grace. The light curves on, unbroken. Some of it escapes, traveling onward into the open sky, while some circles again, caught in the endless pull of the black hole's embrace. Together, they create patterns of reflection, like ripples spreading across an infinite lake. And just as ripples reveal what lies beneath the surface, so too do these circles reveal what the naked eye could never see. It is because of these curves that we can glimpse galaxies at the farthest reaches of existence. The bending light acts as a window, a gentle magnifying glass held by the cosmos itself. Through it, the distant past becomes visible, the first stars, the earliest galaxies, the soft glow of the universe's youth, all come into focus through the lens of gravity's quiet artistry. From a human perspective, this phenomenon feels like a gift, as though the universe, in its vastness, is offering us a way to look deeper into itself. We are creatures of light, drawn to it, dependent on it, guided by it, and now, through the very darkness that once frightened us, we find a way to see farther, to understand more. Perhaps this is the great paradox of existence, that darkness does not only conceal, but also reveals. The black hole, once seen as the end of all things, becomes a passage for light to tell new stories. It is as if the universe itself understands that truth is not found in brightness alone, but in the interplay between what shines and what remains unseen. As the light bends, it teaches us something simple and profound, that straight lines are rare in nature. Everything curves: space, time, motion, even the path of our lives. And in every curve, there is beauty, there is softness, there is the quiet reminder that nothing travels alone, that every journey is shaped by what it encounters. The halo of light surrounding a black hole is the universe's quiet confession, a whisper that even gravity, the most unyielding of forces, can create something tender. The glow that forms there is both a farewell and a greeting, a reminder that in the act of being pulled toward darkness, light finds a way to reveal the invisible. And so, in this bending of light, the universe allows us to see its reflection not as it is now, but as it was in ages past. Through the soft distortion of gravity, we peer into the cosmic memory, watching the faint traces of time's earliest dawn. The arcs fade slowly, their glow thinning into the black, but their message remains. Through their curves, the universe reminds us that beauty often lies in what is unseen, that even distortion can be divine. The stars themselves seem to bow around the black hole's presence, forming halos of reverence in the stillness of space. Beyond these glowing rings, a new kind of music begins, not of light, but of motion. The space around the black hole trembles, soft waves spreading outward through the fabric of everything. They are not visible, but they are felt, ripples of existence itself, moving like the heartbeat of the cosmos. There are moments in the universe when silence itself trembles. No light flares, no fire burns, and yet something vast begins to move. In the deep black of space, two great shadows, two black holes, drift toward one another. They have circled for ages, bound by a gravity older than stars, drawn together by the pull of inevitability. As they close the distance, space itself begins to ripple. The fabric of reality stirs like water under wind, and though no one can see it, the universe begins to sing. There is no explosion, no brightness to mark the event, only motion, deep, invisible, immense. When the black holes finally meet, they merge into one, folding their darkness together in quiet perfection. From that union, a pulse spreads outward. It is not light nor sound, but something purer, a rhythm carried through the very structure of existence. These are the gravitational waves, the universe's heartbeat traveling across eternity. They move gently, yet with power beyond measure. They ripple through galaxies, through stars, through the thin veil of time itself. Every atom, every planet, every being that has ever existed feels them, faintly, imperceptibly, as the cosmos breathes in its sleep. These waves carry with them the memory of what has happened, the joining of two immense silences into one. If the universe had a language, this would be it. A whisper made not of words or light, but of movement. The waves stretch and release, as though the cosmos were taking long, deep breaths. Each pulse is a reminder that even in stillness, something lives and moves beneath the surface. On Earth, our instruments are small compared to the immensity of such an event. Yet through them, we have learned to listen, not with ears, but with patience. Scientists have built machines delicate enough to feel the slightest tremor in space, to catch the passing echo of collisions that happened billions of years ago. When those waves reach us, they do not crash or roar. They arrive softly, like a sigh that has crossed the whole of time to find a listener. To hear them is to hear the heartbeat of creation. They tell us that the universe is alive, not in the way a creature breathes, but in the way a song continues after the last note fades. The black holes that collided are long gone, their moment absorbed into the flow of time, yet their memory endures, carried by these ripples, forever expanding outward. Each wave that passes through us is ancient. It was born in a place without light, in a moment beyond human imagination. It has traveled across a sea of stars, through galaxies long since faded, to arrive here now. And when it does, for a brief moment, we are connected to everything, to the beginning, to the motion, to the quiet pulse that has always been. The beauty of these waves lies not in their power, but in their subtlety. They do not destroy, they remind. They remind us that space is not empty, that time is not fixed, that the universe is not still. Every ripple tells a story of motion, of merging, of becoming, of surrender. In their rhythm, there is harmony. Imagine the vastness, two invisible giants colliding in silence, creating waves that move through everything, touching every corner of existence. That motion, that trembling, is the universe's way of remembering itself, even when light cannot escape. Movement continues, even when nothing shines, something still sings. To the human ear, it would sound like a faint hum, a note sustained across the ages. But more than sound, it is feeling, the sensation that everything, from the smallest grain of dust to the largest galaxy, shares the same heartbeat. We are all caught within the same rhythm, swaying softly to the pulse of the cosmos. It is humbling and yet comforting to know that somewhere in the deep dark, something as vast as two black holes can collide, and the result is not chaos, but music. The universe, in its grandest moments, does not scream, it whispers. And in that whisper, we find beauty. These waves will continue long after we are gone. They will travel beyond our stars, past the edge of our galaxy, into regions where no light has ever reached. There they will carry the memory of creation forward, the echo of motion preserved in the stillness of space, and perhaps, somewhere, another world will listen, another being, far in the future, might detect the same trembling, the same faint hum, and realize, as we did, that this is how the universe speaks, not through flashes of light or bursts of sound, but through quiet waves that never fade. In this, there is a lesson as old as time, that even silence has a voice, that even the darkest moments send ripples through eternity. The universe does not need to be seen to be heard. Its presence is felt in every subtle vibration that moves through space and through us. As the waves pass, they leave behind calm. The collision that birthed them is long over. The black holes now one, larger, quieter, resting in the dark. Around them, the stars resume their slow dance, unaware that they, too, are part of the same endless rhythm. And far away, on our small blue planet, we listen not only to the universe, but to ourselves, to the quiet echo of existence, the reminder that everything is connected by invisible threads of motion. When the last wave fades into the distance, what remains is peace. The stars still shine, the galaxies still turn, and the universe continues its soft expansion. In its silence, there is harmony. In its movement, there is life. There is a quiet truth that lingers in the universe, the idea that nothing is ever truly lost, not even in the deepest black, where light itself disappears. Somewhere, at the very edge of the unknowable, memory remains. It drifts like a faint shimmer along the border of oblivion, soft as breath, delicate as dust. The black hole, it seems, does not forget. For a long time, we believed that anything that fell into a black hole was gone forever. Stars, light, time, all swallowed whole by its gravity, never to return. But perhaps the universe is kinder than we once thought. Perhaps even darkness keeps a trace of everything it has ever touched, along the boundary where space folds into shadow, the event horizon, The ghosts of all that has fallen remain, faint but eternal. Imagine the surface of a great, invisible sea. Every ripple that touches it leaves behind a pattern, not seen, but felt. The black hole's edge is much the same, a place where the past is imprinted, where the universe quietly records the memory of its own transformation. Every atom that crosses that line, every particle that surrenders to gravity, leaves a whisper behind. It is not the object itself that stays, but the story of it, a trace, a signature, a memory woven into the skin of space. If darkness could dream, its dreams would be filled with these memories, fragments of stars that once burned bright, the dust of worlds long gone, the fleeting warmth of light that once dared to pass too close. Each one becomes part of the black hole's silent collection, layered over time until the edge of the void becomes a tapestry of forgotten things. This, perhaps, is the tenderness hidden within destruction, that even as the black hole consumes, it remembers. It does not erase what it takes. It transforms it into memory, into quiet information that hums just beneath the surface of its silence. The universe, in its own mysterious way, keeps every story ever told. The event horizon becomes a kind of border between being and remembrance. Everything beyond it fades into stillness, but just before that final step, something remains. A record, faint but unyielding. It is as if the black hole cannot help but hold on to a part of what it has touched. Even in its hunger, there is a trace of longing, a reflection of all it has gathered through time. To gaze upon such a thing, if one could, would be to see the universe remembering itself. The edges of the black hole shimmer faintly, not with light, but with the memory of light, a glow made of information, of meaning, of what once was. It is the cosmos's quiet promise that nothing truly vanishes, only changes its form. This thought softens the darkness. It turns fear into wonder. What we once believed to be the end, an infinite void of no return, reveals itself to be a kind of library, vast and invisible, holding the echoes of existence. Every fall, every loss, every silence leaves its mark, and the universe, in its infinite patience, remembers. Perhaps that is why even the emptiest regions of space feel alive. The black holes at the centers of galaxies hum faintly, not with sound, but with the resonance of what they hold. The light they once devoured still lingers at their edges, folded into the fabric of their being. The memory of motion, the trace of heat, the curve of time, all of it persists, woven into the unseen. The darkness it turns out is not void. It is memory. It is the universe's way of keeping everything close, of holding on to what it has loved, what it has lost, what it cannot let go. It gathers without judgment, without sorrow, preserving each fragment in silence. And through that silence, meaning endures. If we listen closely, not with ears, but with understanding, we might sense it, the faint pulse of memory rippling through space. The black hole is not a tomb, but a keeper. It holds the history of the stars, the stories of light, the secrets of time. It keeps them safe, beyond the reach of decay. To know this is to realize that nothing truly disappears. The energy of every breath, every flame, every falling star still moves through the universe, shifting, changing, remembering. The dark is not the opposite of light. It is its memory. They are two sides of the same song, one that the cosmos has been singing since the beginning. Even now, as galaxies drift and stars fade, the memory of all that ever was continues to shimmer faintly at the edge of existence. The black holes, those silent giants, hold their watch, patient, eternal, remembering everything. And perhaps, in some distant age, when the universe has grown quiet and cold, these memories will be all that remain. The faint record of everything that once existed, written in the language of gravity and silence. But the story does not end here, for even memory, held long enough, can give birth to something new. The same forces that preserve what once was also create the conditions for what will be. The universe never stops turning, never stops renewing itself, never stops remembering. Love. In the quiet rhythm of the cosmos, there is a balance that never breaks. Light and darkness, opposites yet inseparable, move together through eternity, like the slow inhale and exhale of the universe. One gives meaning to the other. Without shadow, brightness would lose its depth. Without light, darkness would have no name. Together, they create the harmony that allows existence to be seen, to be felt, to be known. Every sunrise begins in darkness. Every star is born from a cloud of shadow. The two are not enemies, but companions in an endless dance. Where one retreats, the other arrives, soft as a tide rising and falling upon the shore of time. The universe breathes through them both, expanding, contracting, glowing, fading, an infinite motion that reminds us that creation itself depends on balance. Light travels swiftly, but it is darkness that gives it purpose. A beam without shadow cannot be perceived. It would pass unnoticed, invisible in its perfection. Darkness cradles the light, frames it, allows it to be seen, and light, in return, gives darkness form, not to defeat it, but to define it. They are mirrors, each revealing the other's beauty. Even the black hole, the deepest of shadows, gives birth to radiance. Around its edge, light bends, flares, and escapes, painting halos of gold upon the void. In the same way, a star's death fills the universe with the materials for new light to come. From every collapse, brightness finds its way back. From every fading, a new dawn begins. The cosmos has no preference between them. It only breathes, in and out, dark and bright. endlessly. There is peace in this understanding. The night does not resent the day, nor does light fear the dark. They trade places gently, following a rhythm written long before time began. It is the same rhythm that guides the turning of planets, the pulsing of stars, the expansion and stillness of galaxies. It is the same rhythm that hums softly within every living being, the balance between effort and rest, between knowing and forgetting, between presence and disappearance. Perhaps this is why the universe feels both infinite and intimate at once. It carries within it the contrast of all things, heat and cold, sound and silence, motion and stillness. Each defines the other, not through opposition, but through coexistence. The beauty of creation lies not in perfection, but in this delicate balance, in the way light leans into shadow, and shadow softens beneath light. When we look into the night sky, we see this truth written across the heavens. Every star burns against a backdrop of black, yet it is the darkness that makes the starlight shimmer. The void is not empty. It is full of waiting, full of space for light to exist. The stars need the darkness to be seen, just as our own hearts need silence to hear their rhythm. And so the universe continues to breathe. With every pulse of gravity, every ripple of time, every flicker of light born and lost, it maintains this eternal cycle. The galaxies spin like slow lungs, drawing in darkness, releasing light. It is a motion so vast we cannot see it unfold, but we can feel it, faintly, in the quiet wonder that stirs when we gaze upward and realize we are part of that breath. Light and darkness are not two separate realms. They are one continuous field, flowing into and out of each other. They meet at the edges of stars, at the curves of shadows, in the spaces between thoughts. Their union is the essence of existence, the pause between notes that turns sound into music, the silence between waves that makes the ocean's rhythm whole. In their meeting, there is tenderness. Light does not conquer darkness. It illuminates it. Darkness does not extinguish light. It enfolds it, protecting it until it is ready to return. They move in harmony, teaching us that even in absence, there is presence. Even in stillness, there is motion. To understand this is to see the universe not as a battle between opposites, but as a breathing, living thing. Every shadow holds a hint of radiance, and every ray of light carries a trace of night within it. Together, they form the heartbeat of creation, a rhythm both ancient and eternal, both vast and intimate. And perhaps in the quietest corners of existence, this is the lesson the cosmos whispers, that what we call darkness is not something to fear, but something to trust. It is the space from which light is born, the pause that allows brilliance to emerge. Without the night, the dawn would have no meaning. Without silence, the song could not be heard. The universe, in all its grandeur, moves gently between these two, inhaling light, exhaling shadow, again and again, Each breath creates worlds, births stars, and shapes destinies. And within that ceaseless motion, everything finds its place. Every atom, every soul, every flicker of time. As the galaxies turn and the stars fade, the balance holds. Darkness deepens, light softens, and together they continue the endless rhythm that began long before memory. The slow, steady breathing of the cosmos. And in the midst of that breath, something new begins to stir. From the interplay of shadow and glow, from the calm between inhalation and exhalation, matter begins to gather once more. Dust drifts, light returns, and the seeds of new worlds start to form. The cycle moves forward, not as repetition, but as renewal. There are moments in human history when curiosity becomes a kind of faith, a belief that what cannot yet be seen can still be known. For centuries we looked up at the stars and wondered what waited beyond the visible, what moved in the spaces where even light could not go. The idea of the black hole was once only a whisper, a shadow in the mathematics of the cosmos. Too strange, too perfect to be real. And yet, someone dared to believe it might be. In the early years of the 20th century, a man named Einstein described a universe where space itself could bend, where time could stretch, where gravity was not merely a force, but a shape. His equations drew invisible lines across the cosmos, lines that spoke of something extraordinary, a place so dense, so powerful, that even light could not escape. But for decades, it remained only an idea, beautiful, haunting, and unreachable. Generations passed and humanity kept searching. Our telescopes grew stronger, our minds sharper. We listened to the faint whispers of the universe, the trembling of stars, the subtle curves of light. Every signal, every flicker of radiation was a clue, a thread in a tapestry that was slowly revealing the unseen. The more we looked, the more the shadows seemed to take form. The impossible began to feel inevitable. And then, one quiet morning, in April 2019, the world saw it, not with the naked eye, but with the eyes of countless minds, working as one. The Event Horizon Telescope, a network of observatories scattered across the Earth, captured what was once only imagination, the first image of a black hole, a soft, glowing ring of orange and gold, blurred at the edges, hanging in the void like an ember caught in the breath of creation. It was more than an image. It was a moment when the boundary between thought and reality dissolved. That faint, fiery circle was a bridge between human curiosity and the universe's deepest secret. What once lived in equations had become something we could see, and in that seeing, we understood. Not everything, but enough to feel the truth of it. The picture did not shout. It whispered. It said, "You were right to wonder." It said, "The universe is stranger and more beautiful than you dared to believe." It reminded us that knowledge does not come only from instruments or numbers, but from patience, imagination, and faith in what lies beyond the horizon. To create that image, scientists had to synchronize telescopes across the entire planet, aligning them to capture a moment of light older than our civilization. It was as if the earth itself had become a single eye, opening for a heartbeat to glimpse eternity. That blur of orange, the outline of darkness, carried within it the weight of 100 years of dreams. In that instant, we saw not only the black hole, but ourselves, our endless reaching, our refusal to stop asking questions. The image was proof that even in an indifferent universe, curiosity gives us meaning. It was the soundless echo of a species whispering to the stars, "We are here, and we understand a little more than we did yesterday." The photograph of the black hole at the center of the galaxy emission is, in truth, an image of light's surrender, a record of photons trapped in their final orbit before falling into silence. And yet, within that surrender lies creation. The soft glow we see is light resisting the inevitable, circling the darkness one last time before letting go. In that way, it mirrors us, always circling the unknown, always daring to look a little closer, even when we cannot fully comprehend. What makes the image so moving is not its color or its clarity, but its humanness. It is a portrait painted not with brushes, but with perseverance, millions of data points, thousands of hearts, decades of work, all coming together to show us something we had only dreamed of. It is a reminder that even the smallest eyes, looking together, can see the largest mysteries. In that blurred glow, the distance between us and the stars felt smaller. For the first time, the universe looked back at us, and we could almost feel its calm acknowledgement, as if to say, "You've finally seen what I have always been." The darkness, once a source of fear, became something sacred, not an end, but a beginning. And so, our understanding deepened. The black hole was no longer only a symbol of destruction, but a reflection of balance, a place where gravity, light, and time meet in perfect harmony. In learning to see it, we learned something about ourselves. That knowledge, like light, must sometimes travel through darkness before it can shine. The journey to that moment is not finished. The image we saw was only the first step, a single breath in a much longer song. Humanity will keep listening, keep refining, keep reaching into the unknown. Each discovery opens a new question. Each answer deepens the mystery. That is the rhythm of exploration, the same rhythm that moves galaxies, that hums through the stars, that lives within us. And as our instruments grow more sensitive, as our gaze stretches further into the dark, we will see more, not just the shapes of black holes, but the stories they hold. We will hear the echoes of time written in their silence, and perhaps one day understand how the universe keeps its memory. For now, the image remains, soft, glowing, eternal, a candle lit in the heart of infinity, a reminder that even the most unimaginable truths can be brought into focus when curiosity and wonder line. When we first looked upon the image of a black hole, that faint, golden ring floating in the dark, the world grew quiet. For a brief moment, humanity stood still, not in confusion, but in awe. What we saw was more than light curved by gravity. We saw the edge of our own understanding, the thin border between what we know and what we still long to comprehend. It was a picture of both discovery and humility. In that glowing ring, framed by infinite darkness, we recognized something deeply human, our yearning to see beyond limits. For a century, we had drawn the shape of black holes in equations and dreams, but now, for the first time, we could see it. Not perfectly, not clearly, but enough to know it was real. That single image carried the weight of 1,000 questions, and within it, the quiet courage of every mind that dared to ask them. Science, in that moment, stopped being a collection of numbers. It became a mirror for emotion, a reflection of our desire to reach the unreachable. The black hole did not simply reveal itself, it revealed us. Our determination, our patience, our capacity to imagine something we might never touch. We were no longer just observers of the universe. We were participants in its unfolding story. The sight of that faint orange ring stirred something ancient within us, the same wonder that once guided our ancestors to chart the stars by firelight, the same curiosity that made us build telescopes and send our voices into the void. It was as though the universe had finally whispered back, "I see you too." There is a kind of poetry in the fact that science, born of logic and reason, can move us to tears. We build machines to measure the immeasurable, yet what they reveal touches something beyond reason. When we saw that black hole, we did not just see an object. We felt the breath of infinity brushing against the edge of our comprehension. It was humbling and profoundly beautiful. What made the moment so powerful was not only the discovery itself, but the quiet humanity behind it. The thousands of minds who worked together across languages, continents, and time zones, united by a single dream to see what could not be seen. In that unity, there was something more luminous than any telescope could capture. It was the light of collaboration, of shared wonder. We often think of science as cold, distant, disattached, but in truth, it is deeply emotional. Every equation is a confession of longing, every experiment an act of hope. To study the universe is to fall in love with mystery, to be humbled over and over again and still continue reaching out. The black hole image reminded us that behind every discovery lies a pulse, not of machines, but of hearts that refuse to stop asking why. As the image spread across the world, something remarkable happened. People who had never looked through a telescope felt connected to the cosmos. Children traced the shape of that ring and whispered, "Thumos is what the universe looks like." And for a brief, fragile moment, humanity, divided by so many things, shared the same silence, the same wonder, the same heartbeat. We looked into the darkness, and instead of fear, we found belonging. The black hole was not a void. It was a reflection of our own curiosity, a symbol of how far the human spirit is willing to go. We had captured an image of something that defied imagination, and in doing so, we reminded ourselves that imagination is limitless. In its blurred edges and soft glow, the photograph carried a truth beyond science, that knowledge is not the opposite of wonder, but its continuation. The more we learn, the more we realize how much there is left to feel. The deeper we look into the universe, the more it reveals the delicate thread that connects reason and emotion, mind and heart, light and darkness. For centuries, humans have sought meaning in the stars. We built myths before we built theories, and perhaps those myths were never wrong. They were simply early versions of the same yearning to make sense of what lies beyond. The black hole, once a creature of imagination, has become real, and yet its reality feels no less magical. Science can measure, predict, and explain, but it can also move us to reverence. The black hole reminds us that the universe is not a problem to be solved, but a poem to be read, slowly, gently, with awe. Its silence is not emptiness, but invitation. Its darkness is not absence, but mystery. And when we look at it, we are not just seeing the cosmos. We are witnessing the reflection of our own infinite longing. Perhaps that is what makes this discovery so special. It bridges two worlds, the world of reason and the world of feeling. It proves that science, at its heart, is an act of wonder, and that emotion, at its highest form, is an act of understanding. Together, they form the same breath, the inhale of curiosity, the exhale of awe. And even now, years after that first image appeared, the black hole continues to speak, not in words, but in silence. It reminds us that there is still so much to explore, still so much to feel. The universe is not finished with us yet. It continues to unfold, layer by layer, waiting for the next mind brave enough to listen. As we look forward, the question shifts. It is no longer only, what can we see, but what can we understand, and how deeply can we feel it? The next discoveries will not only expand our knowledge, they will deepen our relationship with existence itself. When we look at the night sky, it feels as though we are gazing outward, reaching across the dark to touch the distant stars. But in truth, the universe has always been a mirror. Every galaxy, every shimmer of light that travels to our eyes reflects something within us. The farther we look, the deeper we see ourselves. The cosmos is not only a map of what exists beyond, it is a quiet portrait of what lives inside. For what is exploration, if not recognition? The black holes, the nebulas, the dying stars, they are echoes of our own existence. Each collapse, each spark, Each rebirth is something we carry in miniature within our hearts. The universe expands, and so do we. It folds, and so do we. The vastness outside is only an extension of the infinite that resides within. Inside every human being, there is a small cosmos, an expanse of thoughts, memories, and desires orbiting in silence. Some of these thoughts shine brightly, guiding us like stars. Others drift in shadow, heavy with uncertainty. We each contain our own gravity, our own pull between light and dark. And just as the galaxies are shaped by what they cannot see, by the invisible forces that hold them together, so too are we shaped by the unseen parts of ourselves. In the quiet corners of the mind, where fear and longing sleep side by side, something extraordinary happens. Out of that stillness, understanding begins to rise. Just as stars are born in the dense clouds of cosmic dust, awareness is born in the depths of our inner darkness. From reflection comes light, not the kind that burns, but the kind that reveals. The darkness within us is not emptiness, it is potential. It holds all that we have yet to understand, the thoughts we avoid, the emotions we bury, the questions we fear to ask. It is the same with the universe. The vast stretches of black between stars are not nothingness. They are the wombs of creation. The silence between heartbeats, between breaths, between galaxies, all of it holds the possibility of something new. When we stare into the night sky, perhaps what moves us is not the distance, but the recognition, the quiet realization that we are made of the same fabric as everything we see. The carbon in our blood once burned in the core of a star. The oxygen we breathe was born from a dying sun. We are not outside the story of the universe. We are one of its verses. And so, our search among the stars is not just curiosity, it is memory. Every discovery, every image, every theory we build is a way of remembering where we came from. To study the cosmos is to study the self. To reach into the unknown is to hold a mirror to our own consciousness and whisper, I am also part of this. In the vast stillness of space, we find a reflection of our own silence. The black holes remind us of the depth of our own mysteries, the places within that even light cannot reach. And yet, from those places, something luminous can emerge. Awareness, like a star, does not appear in peace, but in pressure. It is born from the weight of thought, the gravity of experience, the collision of questions. To grow is to orbit the unknown, to move around it again and again until we begin to understand its shape. We may never grasp it entirely, but we can feel its presence guiding us. Just as the unseen gravity of black holes shapes galaxies into spirals of beauty, our inner darkness does the same. It pulls us inward, asks us to look deeper, to face what frightens us, until at last we find light waiting there. The journey of awareness is not about escaping the dark, but embracing it. It is the gentle art of seeing the whole picture, the glow and the shadow, the rise and the fall, the known and the unknowable. It is the understanding that one cannot exist without the other. Without contrast, there is no clarity. Without the night, there is no dawn. As we learn more about the universe, we are in truth learning more about ourselves. Every revelation about distant stars mirrors a revelation about the human spirit. The universe does not only expand outward, it expands inward through our ability to feel, to wonder, to be moved. The deeper our science reaches, the more intimate our emotions become. Perhaps that is the secret the universe has been whispering since the beginning, that knowledge and awareness are not the same, and yet they are inseparable. Knowledge allows us to see the stars. Awareness allows us to see ourselves among them. Together, they form the essence of consciousness, the light that flickers in both the sky and the soul. The night sky, then, is not only a window, it is a reflection. To gaze into it is to see the pattern of our own existence, our beginnings, our endings, our endless becoming. We are both observers and participants in this cosmic play of light and shadow. Every heartbeat echoes a supernova. Every thought drifts like stardust through the space of the mind. And when we close our eyes, the stars do not vanish. They simply move inward, scattering across the dark landscape within us. There, too, the universe continues, vast, patient, and full of wonder. So when we look at the cosmos, we are not just asking what is out there. We are asking, who am I within it? And in that question lies the most profound form of exploration, one that no telescope can complete and no equation can contain. For the universe's greatest discovery is not found in the galaxies, but in the gaze that seeks them, the awareness that looks outward and inward at once, that sees the infinite mirrored in the finite. That is the universe becoming conscious of itself. And just as the star continued to burn, so too does this awareness. From darkness, it rises. From silence, it speaks. From wonder, it begins again. The universe has always spoken in paradoxes. Every star that shines was once darkness. Every breath we take is borrowed from the death of another. In every loss, there is creation. In every silence, there is a waiting song. Life, like the cosmos that birthed it, is a dance between opposites, fragile, luminous, infinite in its contradictions. A black hole consumes everything that falls into it, yet from its edge comes the brightest light in the universe. It is a reminder that destruction and creation are not rivals, but partners. The same is true for life. What we lose, what we let go of, often becomes the seed of what we next become. From endings, new beginnings quietly unfold, like dawn rising from the ashes of night. There are moments when life feels like falling into uncertainty, into grief, into silence too vast to name. Yet even as we fall, something within us begins to transform. We learn, we soften, we see more clearly. It is as if the act of losing teaches us the shape of what truly matters. Just as stars collapse to give birth to new light, our own heartbreaks create space for deeper understanding. The paradox is gentle but powerful. From absence comes presence, from silence, a voice, from stillness, motion. Every truth in the universe seems to carry its opposite inside it. Even light cannot exist without darkness to frame it, and time itself moves forward only through the passage of decay. What appears to end is in truth only changing form. Perhaps this is the quiet wisdom of existence, that everything contains its reflection. The fire that gives warmth also consumes. The ocean that nurtures life can also take it away. The same gravity that binds the stars will one day pull them into rest. And yet, through all of it, beauty endures, not in permanence, but in motion, not in certainty, but in balance. Life mirrors the stars in its rhythm. We burn, we fade, we rise again. Each cycle teaches us something, that love is as fleeting as it is eternal, that joy is born from vulnerability, that understanding often grows from confusion. Like the universe, we expand through our contradictions. We are not meant to escape them, but to live within them, to feel both the sorrow and the wonder of being alive. In our darkest moments, when silence feels endless, there is always something stirring beneath. A pulse, a whisper, a slow gathering of light. The same forces that shape galaxies shape us. The same laws that govern stars also govern the human heart. We are made of the same material as everything we seek. Dust, gravity, fire, and longing. When we suffer loss, it is tempting to see only the void it leaves behind. But even the void is alive. Like the darkness around a black hole, it hums with unseen energy, waiting to reveal its purpose. From that emptiness, awareness grows. It is the quiet paradox of existence, that the deeper we sink into sorrow, the closer we come to light. In the stillness that follows pain, we often discover a clarity we could not have reached otherwise. The silence after the storm is where we finally hear ourselves. The emptiness after loss is where meaning begins to form again. It is not that pain disappears. It transforms, folding into wisdom, into empathy, into the ability to see beauty even in impermanence. The universe itself moves through these same lessons. Stars die so that new ones can form. Galaxies collide so that new structures can emerge. The black hole devours, and yet, through its gravity, galaxies hold their shape. Destruction and creation breathe together, never out of rhythm. Perhaps that is what life is teaching us. that the light we seek is not apart from the dark, but born inside it. If we could see ourselves from afar, the way we see the stars, we might understand how beautiful this balance truly is. Every joy, every sorrow, every fleeting moment is part of a greater symmetry. We are not failures of imperfection. We are expressions of contrast. Like the universe, we are built to rise and fall, to glow and fade, to begin again. And so, when we encounter silence, we can remember that it is not emptiness, but preparation. When we face loss, we can remember that it is not the end, but the turning of a page. When we stand in the dark, we can remember that the next light is already forming, quietly within us. To live, then, is to embrace paradox, to accept that the same gravity that pulls us down also holds us together, that even pain, when seen closely, is a form of growth. The universe does not rush its cycles, neither should we. Every ending has its rhythm, every beginning its waiting. We breathe, we break, we heal, and through it all, the universe mirrors us in its timeless, patient way. The paradox of life is not something to solve, but something to feel. It is the gentle truth that existence is both fragile and infinite, that every heartbeat is both fleeting and eternal. We are the echo of collapsing stars, the shimmer of matter that once burned and fell and rose again. We are living proof that the universe does not waste its light. And perhaps that is why, even when life feels heavy, there is a quiet comfort beneath it. The awareness that we are part of a rhythm larger than ourselves, that we are, in some way, the cosmos remembering what it means to begin anew. The stars above us and the thoughts within us are made of the same contradictions. Both struggle, both shine, both find peace in motion. In this, the universe and life speak the same language, one of balance, of transformation, of endless becoming. And as the galaxies turn, and as we breathe, the same truth continues, that every fall carries the seed of rising, that every silence hides the next song, and that even in the deepest dark, light is never truly gone. At the end of every great journey, there comes a silence, soft, infinite, and full. The stars that once burned so fiercely begin to fade, their light dimming into the calm of eternity. The galaxies slow their endless spirals, like dancers coming to rest after a timeless waltz. The universe exhales, a long and gentle breath that drifts across the dark. It is not an ending, only a pause, the quiet heartbeat of creation between one dream and the next. The last rays of light move like whispers through the void, stretching across unimaginable distances, carrying with them the memory of everything that has ever been. They pass through the remains of ancient stars, through clouds of dust that once gave birth to worlds, through the quiet hum of invisible waves, and then, one by one, even those lights fade, not in despair, but in peace. The universe folds its brightness inward like closing eyelids at the edge of sleep. In this stillness, time itself softens, moments lose their sharpness, beginnings and endings blur into yin. There are no explosions, no collapse, no final sound, only a deep, unbroken calm, as if the cosmos is resting after eons of movement. Every star that has ever lived, every planet that has ever turned, every breath that has ever been taken, all dissolve into the same vast hush. Yet within that hush, something stirs. Even as light fades, something unseen begins to rise, faint, slow, inevitable. The universe, it seems, does not die. It dreams. Somewhere beyond the veil of silence, a flicker of warmth appears, so small it could be mistaken for memory, but it grows, delicate as dawn, touching the edge of nothingness. It is light being born again, quietly, from the remnants of all that came before. The darkness, vast and endless, cradles that light with tenderness. There is no struggle between them, no opposition, only rhythm, the eternal rhythm of becoming and returning, of silence and song. Just as a black hole devours only to release brilliance from its edge, so too does the universe rest only to awaken again. Its breathing never stops. It only slows, deepening into the stillness from which new life will rise. Every atom, every fragment of energy that once lived within the stars still exists, scattered, drifting, waiting. They are not lost. They are seeds, carried by the quiet wind of gravity, floating toward the places where light will once more ignite. Perhaps somewhere near another black hole, in another corner of eternity, the same story is beginning again, a burst of radiance born from the shadow of silence. It is beautiful to think that even the universe must rest, that even creation, in all its vastness, pauses to breathe. It reminds us that endings are never truly final, that what we call death is only a turning inward, a preparation for a renewal. The universe, like a sleeper, gathers its strength in stillness, dreaming of the next awakening. And in that dream, there is memory, the glow of the first stars, the hum of galaxies forming, the song of light escaping gravity's pull. All of it lingers, woven into the fabric of silence. The universe carries every story it has ever told, every flicker of existence that has ever been. It is not forgetting, it is remembering differently, quietly, patiently, through rest. The longer one listens to the stillness, the more alive it becomes. There are movements too slow for time to measure, breaths too vast for sound to hold. Even now, deep within the calm, space continues to stretch, as if the universe, though asleep, cannot help but dream of growing. It is an unending cycle. Inhale, exhale, light, dark, creation, rest. If one could drift through that silence, one might hear the faint pulse of something new, the echo of the next beginning. It is not loud. It does not announce itself with fire or thunder. It begins the way all things begin, softly, like a heartbeat in the dark, a shimmer of energy, a trembling thread of possibility, glowing quietly in the stillness. That small glow is hope, the promise that the story never truly ends. For in the heart of the void, the same mystery that once sparked the first stars is stirring again. Light is gathering, matter is whispering, and somewhere, far beyond what we can imagine, the first breath of a new cosmos is forming. And so the universe continues, not in finality, but in rhythm. Each silence becomes a seed, each ending a threshold. Creation folds into itself, only to open once more. Even as we speak of the end, the beginning has already begun. The cycle of light and shadow, of birth and rest, continues beyond the reach of memory. There is comfort in knowing that the universe, in all its vastness, moves with such a grace, never hurried, never lost, always returning to balance. It does not fear the dark, because it knows that darkness is the soil of light. It does not mourn its stillness, because stillness is only another form of motion. Everything changes, but nothing is wasted. Everything rests, but nothing is gone. As the universe closes its eyes, it does so gently, not in weariness, but in peace. The galaxies fade like embers cooling in the night, their light lingering for just a moment longer before melting into the quiet. The stars sigh, the dust settles, and the great fabric of space hums with one final note, a lullaby of gravity, time, and grace. In that note lies the promise of return. For even when all light has gone, when every sound has stilled, when every atom rests in silence, something remains. The dream continues. The universe breathes in its sleep, and with each silent breath, it imagines itself anew. Perhaps, one day, in some distant age beyond our comprehension, that dream will awaken, a new spark will ignite, a new light will rise, and once more, the cosmos will open its eyes softly to another dawn. Until then, it sleeps, not in darkness, but in memory, not in death, but in dream. The story does not end. It only changes form. The universe is still breathing, still becoming, still whispering through the silence, I am not finished. I am only dreaming. And so the story closes, not with a period, but with a breath. For in every grain of dust, every dream, every small soul that looks to the stars, the universe continues to tell its tale, a tale with no beginning, no ending, only a whisper that echoes forever through the night. I never left. I am only sleeping.